Today on the Disruptive Voices of the Pacific, we're joined by another survivor of abuse, a brave woman. Her name is Sala. Welcome, Sala.
Thank you. Bulovina kasi Alicia.
Yeah, you've just finished work. You're run across the road to a coffee shop. So if there's a little bit of background noise, we'll forgive for that because sometimes we just got to do these things wherever we can. So maybe why have you actually chosen to speak about your story?
Oh, well, my story goes back 10 plus years, 15 years at max. All this time I've been silent, worked quietly, trying to pull myself out of the mess I got into myself. Wasn't hard, but having daughters is not easy. And they are coming of age, out of their teenage, going into tertiary, having partners, and it has come to a point where I believe that my story can be shared out to help a few other women who might be going through what I went through.
So you're a mother of
seven actually, 6 girls and a boy.
Yeah, so it is important that our young girls see us speaking up about these issues, isn't it? So 6 boys, 1 girl. You were married, got married in the year 2002,
Yes.
I think, and you were with him for 15 years or so. Yeah. So when did the abuse start in your relationship?
Well, actually, the abuse started from the time we got married. Yeah, that's when the picture turned. Totally different from the dating stage. And I kept quiet about it. Yeah. For me, being the eldest and always been, what would I say, a beacon or probably someone who everybody in the family looks up to. I tried to keep that relationship at a level on the outside, but inside I was breaking.
Let's come back to, so while you were dating him, how long were you with him before you got married?
6 months, yes.
6 months. And so there was no sign of control, abuse, verbal abuse?
No, perfect everywhere.
Perfect. No red flags?
No, actually.
Yeah. And so why do you think then the abuse started once you were married?
I had a child earlier on before my marriage, and then which was accepted. She was accepted in the family. And then when I got married, things started to change because there was always other women in the relationship. Yeah. I was married to a womanizer, an alcoholic, and very abusive, both verbally and physically.
Okay, so right from the beginning, he was cheating on you. Okay. How did this make you feel? When you first discovered this, what were you feeling?
The first time I discovered it, that was very, I'd say I was hurt. Not only hurt, I got depressed. I actually went through a very emotional turmoil, which I couldn't get myself to come out of. But then as it kept occurring, I just made myself, what would I say, play along for the sake of the children. Yeah. I always kept that in my mind, was that I just have to be strong for the children. Because I didn't have anybody to speak to. I lost my mother earlier on in 2003 after I got married. And I couldn't get to speak to my dad because he was a very disciplined man, having been in the force. And I couldn't bring myself to just let anybody know what I was actually going through. Yeah. So I put up with all that.
Yeah, that's a huge thing to carry. And meanwhile, you had another 6 children with this man, knowing that he was cheating on you, that he was verbally abusive. What made you want to keep having children with someone that you knew was not good?
Well, actually, I just didn't have anybody to tend to, didn't have anybody to talk to. And I would say that although the social circle is always there, but there was never once a time when I would reach out myself or even open up to tell what I was going through. The abuses were clearly shown physically. I used to be admitted. Most of the time I was admitted. I would say that I've had enough of appearing in front of the magistrates, family court. I guess the nurses and the doctors probably had, I think they had their time to have seen me in and out of hospital getting the abuse. But yeah, I wouldn't leave for the sake of the children. That used to be my excuse until later on. And then I finally realized that I had only one life and that was more important.
You think, and I hear a lot of women say that they want to stay for the sake of the children. Do you think that's a helpful environment for them to grow up in?
No. Actually, for me, it was quite different. It would have been very abusive, and then once on the cheating side, once it's been caught out in the open, and then it changes, a rose patch the next couple of months, and then it goes back to that level again. So within that time, there was a time that I would sometimes believe that he would change, and then out of the blue, it just goes back.
Yes, no, they're all the typical things that go through a victim's head, unfortunately. I want to believe the best, hope for the best, think we're doing the best for the children. But what's the impact that you've seen on your children having stayed for so long with him?
With my children, I've always tried to shelter them from all that. Whenever we have our arguments, whenever there's fighting, whenever there's so much quarrels in the house, I try and keep them away from it. So what I do is try and cover up. Whenever I have roses, all the foundations come out then. Yeah. When I'm admitted at the hospital, I try my best just to make myself recover and come back. For the children, now that we've come out of it, I see them that they've grown. I can hear them. Before, I never used to hear them laugh as loud as now. Yeah. They seem to grow more. They've learned to reach out and speak out, and also trust me and trust their aunties, trust the other family members, and speak out if ever they have a problem. That's one thing that I have taught my children to have, is to be able to speak out whenever they are faced with a difficulty, or whenever they come across abuses, or some of their friends that might have come across the kind of situation that they have grown up with. So, but I'm grateful that despite everything, about 3 years back, I came across a group of women who actually came into our lives and helped us growing up again. Yeah, coming out from that mess, trying to get us to be confident again.
Sorry, what was the name of the group of women?
It was Hands Ministry.
Yeah, great. Yes, and I'm aware that there are a number of great groups that do exist in Fiji, which is important to know that there is help. When you don't feel like your own social circle or your family can help, there is help. And so please reach out to us if you're looking for help. If you're a woman in a similar situation, we'd love to hear from you. So all this time, you know, your ex-husband, did he ever show any signs of getting help or wanting to change?
No.
Would he promise you that he would, or
Yes, I had a lot of promises ever since day one of abuse, from the day one in the magistrates, but those were the times the promises kept coming and nothing happened.
Nothing ever changed.
Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Maybe for a couple of months, and then it goes back to square one.
Yes, and what do we call that? That apology without change is manipulation.
It is.
Just manipulating you to keep you where you are. So it was 2019 when you finally decided to leave. What was the last straw? What actually got you to pick up your 7 children and go?
That was when I was severely abused, and yeah, I had to be carried out for safety, medication. Yeah, that was when I finally realized that I had only one life, and I had the kids that they needed me to.
And where did you go to?
We were in Liverpool at that point, at the time. I was airlifted to Sala on medical condition. From there in recovery, I never went back. But I just had to get my children across, and that was it.
So then you moved into a place by yourself, or were you with family?
Okay, I actually stayed with my sister. We stayed together until I finally got work and moved to our own place.
Now, moving out of something and having endured years of abuse yourself, life was still a struggle for you. What were some of the struggles that you had when you first left?
Financially, when I left, I had only the clothes on my back. I had nothing left. Everything I had invested in my then family, my marriage life. So when I left, and later on when I got to contact the children, and then everything was burnt out. Yeah, all my stuff was burnt. I actually didn't have anything, but I'm grateful for the support I had then from my family. Automatically, they came to my rescue, providing me with all my basics. Yeah, and even helped with the finances.
So it's just been one day at a time, rebuilding your life.
Yeah.
What's your biggest regrets when you look back on those 15 years?
I should have moved out earlier. That's the only regret I have. Would have just moved out at the first sign of it.
Yes, well, we don't always live in the past. If somebody in your social circles had said, "Oh, Sala, you notice some bruises," if they'd asked you some questions, would you have opened up, or would you have still tried to cover up what was going on?
Well, actually, I didn't have anybody who had asked that.
Yeah. But if you did,
if I did, I could have opened up. But most of them were just related to each other, so it kept me back. Yeah.
What can we do as a society to look out more for these signs? And this is a part of the training I specifically do for churches or workplaces. What are the signs? But what can we do to support one another more, knowing that if, in Fiji, 72% of women have experienced some form of abuse. Most people that we dealing with are dealing with something. So what can we do as a society to begin to come along and support and just take away the silence and the shame?
Well, actually, one thing that I've learned is that having no judgment at anybody, that would have been the best. And just listen. It's something that everybody needs. It's just somebody to just listen and pass no judgment. Yeah. Most of the time, as soon as you open up to somebody, that person automatically tries to put you somewhere. And next thing you know, half of your social circle knows what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is crazy, isn't it? Just listen, love, and then see what we can do to support when we can support. You talked about being in court with him. Had you taken him to court? Has he been charged for any of this abuse?
Yes, I did. But every time I go to court, I reconcile.
What does that mean?
Then when I'm in court, I forgive him for whatever he does. Yeah. And then the case is closed. And then the case is closed. And then I stopped altogether.
So why did you reconcile instead of pushing for charges?
Like as always, it's whenever there's a case to be fought, it takes some time. Within that time, there's always be reconciliation. Yeah, he promises to do this and that, and the change, but it never happens.
And then it was quite often while you were at court or in hospital, you would find out that he was sleeping with another woman.
Yes.
Well, yeah. How are you personally recovering from what you've been through?
Well, actually, I'm blessed because I finally got into a group of women, a group of friends that have helped me not only emotionally but have built me up. Yeah, in the sense of recommitting myself to God and also trying to get back that confidence that I have in myself. Joining a group of ladies, some of the ladies that I work with, some I have the other work colleagues, they divorces too, single mothers, have gone through their um, own patches, but have always been there for each other, yeah, to support each other. Even our children, they've come to know each other.
Yeah, that's powerful. And we need more groups like that.
Yes.
And I guess my prayer is for my nation, but particularly for the Pacific, that we can form groups of healing. That groups that listen, that don't judge, that heal, a safe place, which is where I'd love to see the church do more as well. You talked about recommitting your heart to God. Have you found a church to be helpful in this situation in your healing progress?
Well, actually, I did. With Hands Ministry, I actually had gone to church with them. But at the moment, I'd rather just be staying at home because that's where the judgment comes again. Yeah.
Why do you think the church is so judgmental?
There's so many ways which we can observe people, either through their physically, they can just see us, and even sometimes you can just hear rumors. So obviously, yeah.
Yeah. We've got a long way to go for being like Jesus, don't we? It's hilarious. We all go to church to judge one another when Jesus accepted us just as we were. We've forgotten that while we were still sinners, Jesus died for us. I'm not sure what gives us the right to judge everyone else. But yeah, God bless you, Sala. Thank you. I know you're still on a journey of healing, but pray that your story and what you've shared today will give other people courage. I'm inspired by the women who are speaking out. And again, if you're listening to this and you have a story of abuse or infidelity or pain, this platform is here for you and your story, so we can heal, but so we can help each other and stick next to each other. Just finally, what would you like to say to any women who are currently in a relationship where they are being verbally, physically, sexually abused? What would be your last words that you'd like to leave with them?
Well, to the women who might be going through what you didn't expect to go through, I would say there's always help at the end of the tunnel. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. You're not going to be staying there. So you have to just stand up and move. You don't have to be kept in the same place. You don't have to be in the same mess. You have other people out there who you can reach to. Not only as a group, not openly, but you can go either privately or in see them. There are always women out there who are willing to help, willing to be there. Just offer shoulder just to hear. No judgments. There's always no judgments.
Yep. No, that's beautiful. And may we work towards being those people that can get alongside each other. So thank you, Sala, for just being an open book, defeating shame and silence, and sharing your story so that others can heal and be helped as well. So God bless you, and I hope I get to meet you in person soon.
I look forward to that.
Thank you.